Welcome back. This is Michelle Bordeaux. I am your host for How I Survived It podcast. Cheers. I am sipping a hot latte from my cozy little cabin I have here at home. I hope you grab a snack and have a nice cup of Joe or whatever you're in the mood for. I'm going to name this podcast maybe something along the line of Reindeer Games. Yes, Reindeer Games. Maybe you can relate, folks. So, this is going to be a light-hearted, maybe a giggle or two show today. This is regarding, I'm the author of Tales of the Tipsy Caregiver. I experienced caring for my mother with dementia. So, I realized everything is a balance. There has to be some way to occupy my now mother that now the roles have reversed. She is actually my daughter and I am her mother. If you've gone through it, you know that what I'm talking about. If you haven't, look for that. The roles do reverse. And just like our parents were there for us, we have to be there for them, right? So, I will let you know why I'm going to call this episode Reindeer Games. My mother was very creative when, before the dementia, and, I wanted to keep that creativity in her mind, body, and soul. So I thought, okay, my mother's always loved to paint. She wasn't a professional, painter, but she loved to paint and draw. She was very good at it, I thought. A little bragging rights, Mom. My mom is up in heaven, but I know she's listening to this podcast too, along with you all. So I thought, okay, so I'm going to get Mom coloring books. At that time, the adult coloring book, the books were not quite out yet. They were just beginning to get out, and I didn't really like them. So I went for some coloring books, OG coloring books, Care Bears, Hello Kitty, mermaids, fairies. My mother was a very fan of the fairies. We actually wrote a book together, and I will publish that out maybe sometime next year. That one's very dear to my heart. So, get this, guys. I go to the store, and I come home with a basket, and I even put a bow. I wrapped it in a big pink bow. Here, Mom. Here you are. Here's for you to enjoy, some you time. I know you love to paint, but this is a different kind. This is actually with crayons. And, it defeats the purpose, right? You make color on a beautiful canvas. So my mom, she smiled ear to ear. She was the happiest little girl. Her inner girl just came out. And she was glowing, and it was just like it was Christmas time or Easter, getting an Easter basket. So my mother would just, get out her coloring, pencils, crayons, and switch books. And she would I could just see her. She would just have such a peaceful, content face. I would play on music, and I would be cleaning. My mother, by the way, she was no longer able to walk. She had severe osteoarthritis, and she was no longer to walk. So, that was her enjoyment along with music, because she loved music. We both love music. And so she would just be so jazzed. Then, I would go do my own things, and I would be in the kitchen, and I would hear, because my mother would call me Mom. I don't know if you heard my other episodes that had nothing to do with dementia. She would just call me Mommy, Mom. And I would hear Mom, and I would, I knew she was okay. She just had a question, and I would walk in there, and she would be, can you please, I dropped my box of crayons. Can you please pick it up? Sure, of course. Okay, maybe about 3 minutes later. Mom, now I dropped my coloring book. Okay, yeah, okay, I'll put it right there. Make sure, it doesn't slide. And, of course, this became the game of attention. This has nothing to do with the reindeer games. You will find out about that right now, too. So, it was just funny to me. I would giggle every single time. Every single time I would go to the store. Mom, you need anything? Yeah, I need some more crayons and some more coloring books. And I was like, okay, what happened to your coloring, books, or what? Did you finish all the pages? No, but I just bring me some new ones, and coloring crayons or coloring pens. Now it was the ink pens, like the pens that can actually, when you draw on a thin sheet, you can see it on the other side, which I still have all my mother's coloring books, by the way, and I won't let go of them. They, I see when they gradually started from coloring books to coloring pencils to coloring markers, and it went through the page. I actually have a couple of those pages, my mom's favorite ones. One is a fairy, and the others are just about cats and dogs that she that she colored. I have them on my refrigerator as a proud mom. And I will keep them there. And so back to my story. So that was a game of attention. I don't have I never had human kids. I am a pet parent, a mama bear, like what I like to call myself. But she was so jazzed about that. I thought I have to do something else. So I bought memory cards. Memory cards, where you put all the cards down, face down, and then you have to pick two, and you have to remember, which ones are which. And I got fairy theme. I even have Old Maid. We played that. And during, these playing these games, my mother would say, "Oh no, yeah, I picked those." And I was like, no, you didn't. And at this time, we always had snacks. That's why I mentioned to have your snacks out for this one, because during the time that we interacted with card games, I even got